right, so here is our very first lesson, and you are taking notes. So I want you to have a blank sheet of paper and a pencil or pen of your choice and a calculator. And this video is going to seem like it might go by fast, but that's the beauty of it. You can stop it and replay it, or you could watch it a couple different times. In fact, you can watch it as many times as you want to get the hang of the lesson. So I promise I'm going to try to keep them short. And let's take a look at our learning target. Today, you are going to evaluate expressions. And then our success criteria, you should be able to simplify expressions with your order of operations. And then I want you to be able to tell the difference between an expression and an equation. Okay, so agenda, what are we doing? We're going to go through the opener. We're going to go through the notes, and then you will have a homework for today. All right, so here is our opener. It's Wednesday, so it's Work It Out Wednesday. Can you solve this equation? It's okay if you can't, no problem. In class, I'm going to have students just try. So if you want to pause this video, try it out, go, I think I might remember something from this, then definitely do it. That's how you learn. That's how you actually really learn math, is by trying, even though you're like, I don't know if it's right. But that trying piece and then fixing your mistake, that's how you take the learning to your long-term memory. Okay, so hopefully you pause the video. Okay, wait, hold on. Pause right now. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and solve this equation. This is a two-step equation, and so hopefully you subtracted 6 to each side of the equation. So now you have 3x equals 6, and you divide by 3, so x equals 2. Okay, how'd you do? Well, I can't hear you, but I'm hoping you did good. And if it went too fast, make sure you rewind and replay it. But don't worry if you don't know it. It's okay. It's just we're just trying things out right now. Okay. All right. So here is the official lesson. I always recommend, best practice is to pause, and I give students time in class, pause and write down the title. Okay, so write down the title, write down the problems nice and clear, and then press play when you are ready. Okay, so do you notice anything? Do you notice anything between the two? Do you notice any differences between the two? Well, this here has no equal sign, right? Do you see there's no equal sign? This one has an equal sign. That means that this one is an equation because it has an equal sign. This one does not have an equation. That means it's not an equation. It's an expression. So this is an expression and this is an equation, okay? So with equations, we can solve. We can solve to make them x equals. With equations, we cannot solve for x, okay? We can simplify and combine terms, but we cannot say x equals anything with this first expression, because expressions is not an x equal. There's no equal sign. There's no equation. So let's go ahead, and with the first expression, we're going to notice like terms. These two terms are like because they both have the x. And I can combine them together. I can say that 3 minus 4, subtract 4, right, is a negative 1. And the x stays the same. So it's going to be negative 1x. Or you can just say that it is negative x, because 1 times x is x. But both of them are acceptable for right now, okay? And then plus 6. We are just going to drop down the plus 6 because there are no other terms. So plus 6. And the cool thing is that both of these are correct. This one is correct. This one is correct. We've simplified the expression. On the other one we're looking at, the equation, we can solve for x. We know what x is, and we plug it into that equation to make it true by solving. So we're going to subtract 3 from each side, just like what we did in the opener. When we do that, we're left with 2x equals 8. Ooh, silly. Now we can divide by 2 on each side, and x equals 4. All right, so that is slide number 1. Let's go to slide number 2. All right, so the big idea today is that I want you to be able to evaluate expressions. Now, we just learned what an expression is, right? So now we want to evaluate. Evaluate means that we know that maybe x is 3, and we can take that 3 and plug it in for x. So instead of x, we will write 3. Okay, let's do it. So instead of x squared, I'm going to write 3 squared. Now notice how I put parentheses around the 3. Where did they come from? Well, I always put parentheses around the 3, around any time that you plug something in, right? Whenever you're evaluating, like taking this 3, plugging it into the x, I always put parentheses around it. And we're going to talk more about how that is valuable so we don't mess up on negative signs. Okay, so then we're just going to drop down the plus 4. It's very important to drop them down and keep them on the same line. Now we can perform the math. So 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 9 plus 4 is 13, and you are done. You've just evaluated an expression. Super cool, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do it again. Oh, look, it's got 2 of them now. Not a problem. We got this, right? So I want to take a look. It says that we're going to evaluate the expression when x is 2 and y is 3. So first, we're going to plug them in and then work out the math with order of operations. Okay, so I'm going to draw the square root sign, and instead of a y, I'm going to write 3. And then I'm going to keep following along, plus 6. And make sure the subtraction sign is out of the square root sign. See, out of this, well, in high school, it gets to be a radical, which is kind of cool. We'll talk more about that later. But make sure it's outside of it because it is outside of it up here. All right, now instead of the x, we're going to put the 3, and I'm going to place the parentheses. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait, why didn't you put them here? I totally could have, but it was inside that radical, and I didn't see any other negative signs, so I didn't. But I saw this, so I was like, might as well be safe and go ahead and put that there. I guess I should have put it there, but it's not wrong. We'll get more into the groove of that as we go along. Okay, so now it is 3 plus 6 inside of the square root, and that is 9. And then minus, subtract, and then 3 squared is also 9, 3 times 3. And the square root of 9 is 3. Common mistake. Please don't do 9 minus 9. Don't do that. I know, like sometimes you're like, oh, 9 minus 9 is 0. But this 9 is basically like in jail. It can't get out unless it's perfect. And 9 is perfect because the square root of 9 is a perfect 3. So now I can write 3 because the square root of 9 is 3. Subtract 9 and I have negative 6. Right? 3 subtract 9, negative 6. All right. See, right now I would be asking you like, hey, how are you doing? Do you have any questions? So if you have questions, or I would rewatch it or like write it down on the side. I didn't know this, or I don't understand this. And that way you can let me know exactly the point where you're struggling, and then I can help you. All right. So let's go ahead and do this next example. Definitely pause, take your time, write this down on paper, and then press play when you're ready to start. Okay, so this time x is a negative 4. All right, so a negative 4 goes where x is at. And then y is 5. So I'm going to plug in a y for 5 here. All right, so x squared, instead of an x, it's now going to be negative 4 squared. See how I put the parentheses? Stick with me. All right, plus 2 times y. Y is 5. See the parentheses again? Good idea. All right. So now negative 4 squared is negative 4 times negative 4. Now a negative times negative is a positive, and 4 times 4 is 16. So that is going to give us a positive 16. Okay. This right here gives us a positive 16. All right, so then I have plus, and then 5 times 2 is 10. And when you add 16 plus 10 together, you get 26. Whew. You guys like it? I love math. Can you tell? You can tell I love math. I absolutely love it. I love it online. I love it in person. I love it all. Okay, so here is 2 for you to try. I definitely want you to pause this video, right? I want you to pause it. I want you to try these on your own, and it's okay if you get them wrong. It's okay. It's okay if you get stuck and you have to press play and figure it out. That is okay. You're learning. That's part of learning. You're doing it good. Like, that's what I want you to do. Do I think you're going to get both of these right the first time? No, no. All right. So, don't be hard on yourself with any of these problems. And we're just going to keep practicing, and we'll get better over time. All right. So, pause this video, write them down nicely, try them out. Did you do good? Let's see. And did you do good? Did you persevere? Did you get stuck and go, okay? Or, there's so many ways of doing like good, staying with it and figuring it out. So yeah, awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do for the first problem is I'm going to plug in for x squared. I'm going to plug in the -2 squared. I'm going to fill out the subtract 1, and it's all over y, and y is -3. All right, so -2 squared is -2 times -2, which is a +4. So I'm going to say that this equals a +4 minus 1 over -3. Now 4 minus 1 is 3. So now, I'm kind of running out of room, sorry about this, is 3 over -3. I'm just going to, I'm going to write on the line. You know what, we're just going to be bold. We're just going to write, I'm going to write below the line. Right? We got room. So it is 3 over -3, because 4 minus 1 is a 3. And 3 divided by -3 is a -1. Final answer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is where x is +8. So I'm going to draw a square root sign, and I'm going to put an 8 where I see the x, plus 8. And the subtraction sign is out of that square root, so make sure to write it out of the square root. And then the y is -1. Ooh, that one's tricky. Okay, so 8 plus 8 is the square root of 16. Now, do you see how there are 2 negatives? Those 2 are multiplying each other. A negative times a negative. If there is no number between 2 negatives, if there's nothing there or a parenthesis, it is understood that they are multiplying. So this is a negative times a negative, which is a positive. And then I'm going to bring down the 1. And I'm going to just highlight that so you can see that those 2 negatives was the positive. Now, the square root of 16, square root of 16 is 4. And 4 plus 1 equals 5. All right, so that is the lesson for today. And please email me if you have any questions. Please rewatch this video if you want to. And you are now going to try out the worksheet. And the worksheet has about 24 problems on them. And then do them on a separate sheet of paper, take a picture, and upload it to submit your homework for today. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great day. Don't stress about math. There's too much stuff to stress about. Get a hold of me if you're struggling, or if you need anything else with today's lesson. And I'll see you guys later.